Cassie wiped the last crumbs off table 12 and looked out at the parking lot, shimmering in the afternoon heat. The tiny roadside diner in Nevada wasn't exactly the place you'd expect miracles, but Cassie believed in kindness wherever she went. After her shift, she always checked the parking lot, making sure no elderly customers needed help with heavy bags or flat tires. That afternoon, as she stepped out to dump the trash, she spotted a sleek black Bentley with its hood popped open. A tall man in a crisp white shirt and expensive shoes was staring helplessly at the smoking engine. Cassie tilted her head, curiosity mixing with a sense of duty. She had grown up around her dad's old repair shop and wasn't scared to get her hands dirty. As she approached, the man glanced at her, sweat beading on his forehead. "Need a hand?" Cassie asked. The man looked shocked for a moment. Most people would just walk by, intimidated by the car and the suit. "You know anything about engines?" he asked, almost laughing. "Try me," Cassie replied, rolling up her sleeves with a quiet confidence. The man hesitated, then stepped aside. Cassie leaned in, inspecting the steaming mess. "Looks like your coolant hose burst," she said after a moment. She rummaged through the man's pristine trunk and found a basic toolkit, working deftly while the man stood frozen. "I've never seen someone just jump in like that," he finally said, almost in awe. Cassie smirked. "Someone's got to help you rich folks once in a while," she teased. They both laughed, tension melting away. When Cassie finally got the engine running, the man clapped in disbelief. "I don't even know how to thank you," he said, reaching for his wallet. Cassie waved him off. "Keep your money," she said, "just pay it forward." That answer stunned him. He watched her walk back toward the diner, her uniform stained with grease, but her head held high. Before she disappeared inside, he called out, "Wait, at least tell me your name." She turned, eyes bright. "Cassie," she said simply. That name lodged in his mind like a seed waiting to bloom. As she walked away, he noticed something glimmering under her collar, a tiny silver locket. Meanwhile, Cassie felt oddly satisfied, not because she had helped a rich man, but because she had chosen kindness over judgment. That evening, as she cleaned up the diner, she kept replaying the man's expression in her head. There was something gentle beneath his fancy suit, something broken he tried to hide. She didn't know that the man, whose name was Julian, sat in his car for nearly an hour after she left, staring at his pendant, a small gold charm shaped like an angel wing, the last gift from his late mother. It reminded him of values he'd buried under deals and board meetings. That night, Julian couldn't sleep. He felt haunted by Cassie's smile, her refusal to take his money, and her honest eyes that saw past his wealth. The next morning, Julian drove back to the diner. He didn't even know what he'd say. He walked in awkwardly, his tailored suit looking painfully out of place among truckers and locals. Cassie nearly dropped a plate when she saw him. "Back for round 2?" she joked, trying to lighten the moment. Julian smiled, but there was a seriousness in his eyes. "Cassie," he began, voice trembling, "yesterday you reminded me of something I lost a long time ago." He held up his pendant. Cassie's eyes widened. "That's beautiful," she whispered. Julian explained how his mother used to work 2 jobs, always taught him to help others without expecting anything in return. After she passed, he became obsessed with building his empire, forgetting her lessons. "But yesterday, you brought her back to me," he said. Cassie's hand covered her mouth, her heart beating wildly. Julian lowered his head. "I want to help you, not with money, but maybe an opportunity," he said. Cassie felt her knees weaken. Opportunities didn't come often in her life, but this felt different. Julian wasn't offering charity, he was offering connection. Before she could respond, the kitchen bell rang, snapping them out of the moment. Cassie nodded toward the counter. "I need to get that," she said softly, her mind whirling. Julian sat at a booth, watching her with admiration and a hint of guilt for how far he had drifted from his mother's teachings. Hours later, after the lunch rush, Cassie finally sat with Julian. They spoke for what felt like forever. Cassie shared how she'd always dreamed of running a community garage that taught young girls mechanical skills, a safe space to learn without judgment. Julian listened closely, his fingers brushing the angel wing pendant, his mind already imagining how he could help. "I know you're independent," Julian said carefully, "but I'd like to invest in that dream, not because you helped me, but because I believe in you." Cassie looked at him, tears welling. "Why me?" she whispered. Julian paused, his voice gentle. "Because you gave me back my mother's voice. Because you reminded me that life is about service, not just success." For a moment, they sat in silence, the diner buzzing around them like a distant ocean. Cassie realized this wasn't about money. It was about a shared mission to make kindness louder in a world that had grown too quiet. She finally nodded. "Okay," she said, her voice small but firm. Julian's relief was palpable, his shoulders relaxing for the first time in years. They shook hands. A simple months passed, and Cassie's garage opened on the edge of town. Brightly painted walls, tool racks neatly organized, and a sign above the door that read Cassie's Wings, Empowerment Through Skill. Young girls from all walks of life poured in, their curiosity ignited, their confidence blossoming. Cassie taught them not just about cars, but about believing in themselves. Julian watched proudly from the sidelines, never trying to take credit. He finally understood that true legacy wasn't measured by profits or skyscrapers, but by the hearts we touch and the lives we uplift. One evening, Cassie found Julian standing alone in the garage, staring at the sign. She walked over and handed him a small box. Inside was a silver locket, shaped like an angel wing. "For you," she said softly. Julian's eyes filled with tears. "I don't deserve this," he whispered. "You do," Cassie replied. "You believed in me when I didn't even dare to." They hugged quietly. No words needed. In that moment, all past mistakes, all regrets seemed to wash away, leaving only gratitude and shared purpose. The town, once skeptical of the rich man and the waitress, now celebrated them as symbols of what true kindness and second chances could build. Cassie's story spread beyond the town, inspiring countless others to believe that we're all capable of extraordinary acts of kindness, no matter our past. And in the quiet evenings when the garage closed, Cassie would look up at the sign, remembering that small choice she made that afternoon, to help a stranger with a broken car, had rewritten both their lives forever.